What happened to the bully in your class? I was lightly bullied in 6th grade by this kid who had so many behavioral issues that they wouldn't let him advance to the next grade, even though as far as I know his grades were good enough. Once in 8th grade I saw him in a 6th grade line and openly laughed at him. The teacher didn't even say anything. He ended up stabbing a kid with a plastic fork at lunch, a 6th grader, when he was the age of an 8th or 9th grader. And either got expelled or kept doing shit like that until he was old enough to drop out. I haven't heard a thing about him since then. I think he's in jail for taking part in the killing of an older gentleman that made national, if not worldwide news about 20 years ago. Same name, same age, different city though, but only a few hundred miles away. Wouldn't surprise me if that was him. Wouldn't say he was my bully, but we definitely had some run-ins and he was just bad guy all around. I guess he moved right before high school because I remember bullshit he'd do in elementary and middle school, but he was gone sometime either during middle school or between that MSHS year. I saw him walking in front of my family's house, certain he was passing by while I was playing with my daughter and her cousins. He gave me a little wave and I thought I'd just wave back to be nice. He messaged me later on Facebook and said he's glad I'm doing better than him. Long story short, he told me his ex-wife and him are having a serious custody battle with their kid and recently got a DUI, which got him in a deeper hole. He basically said don't end up like him. As much as I hope he gets better, karma really is a bitch. He is the most obvious butthurt face in the prom court photo when he assumed he was going to be prom king. Right next to me, who didn't win and never expected campaign tried to. He so wanted that and a geek took it from him out of nowhere. Dude was a total ass to everyone. So having that moment, that photo, shared physically throughout the whole school was pretty damn satisfying. He came from a rich family, I'm sure he's doing fine. Likely much better than me. His name escapes me, which I think is an even better outcome. He got the shit kicked out of him by one of the kids he bullied in the last few days of school. Most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Now he drifts from one job to another. He's tried to pally up with guys he went to school with and been told where to shove it each time. He hangs out with kids as young as 19 who are only interested in being his friend because he can buy them booze. No woman would date him and he's destined to become the hometown drunken loser. I don't believe in karma, but if I did I'd point to him. Not sure where he is now, but in middle school I was bullied by a guy that in high school ended up dating a neighborhood friend of whom I hung out with. It was a subdivision type neighborhood. All his kids were pretty close. Got invited to watch movies and he was there. Thought there was gonna be tension or worse. But he just took me aside and apologized for what he did. TBF, I said some shitty things to him. He was just bigger and stronger than me. Had a friend that said God gave you a smart mouth, and fast legs. He ended up as a single dad working at different odd jobs with bad pay. I could see him all around my hometown in different work clothes from day to day. He looked miserable. He seems to have a nice kid, so I hope things are working out better for him. He was a real piece of shit back in elementary school. But as an adult I can understand better where he came from with an absent dad, a mother who drank way too much, beating him and him most likely having some kind of undiagnosed personality disorder. I'm in Belgium, returning to London tomorrow. I work in construction and gonna fuck the brains out of a Brazilian escort with a fat butt as soon I get the chance. Her name's Melissa. I drive a Lexus IS 200. My victim's name was Chris Begg and I'm pretty sure he's still a failure today. I'd totally give him a few bruises if I saw him today. In the words of Nelson Muntz, bullies are ye. P.S. Chris Begg was a fat kid, sort of like Ralph Wiggum or Martin Prince Lamau. My class in HS didn't have a bully, but the class ahead of me had a few. A couple of them peaked in HS and you see them sometimes, but neither of them went on to good things. The other one has serious health issues and is in a wheelchair due to his weight. It's really odd, but they're all overly nice when you see them. The class behind me had a group of mean girls that were awful. All very popular and attractive, and all of the like six walked the stage at graduation pregnant. The few I remember joined the workforce out of high school in some kind of mechanical job. Personally I wasn't bullied, but I ran into one that seemed to have been humbled by life. Way friendlier to everyone at the reunion. Lol, the other I tried to look up but they dropped off the planet. Last I saw them was at a college party and being a college drunk like everyone else. The majority grow up at some point and get punched in the face by life. In my experience, he got away from his abusive family and soon moved in with his secret boyfriend after getting separated. He always teased me for my feminine ways, but I think that was just projection. I always laughed it off and made jokes back. I guess he resented that someone could take being a bit girly in stride. The last time I saw him, his boyfriend and him invited me to a cross-dressing party and we all got pissed drunk and made out. We're still friends to this day. Boy bully became a correctional officer at a jail and trains attack canines. Girl bully became a high school teacher. I fear for the vulnerable people over whom they have authority. Can't help but wonder what motivated them to seek these jobs. Both married and had kids, although girl bully is on her second marriage. Both are considered perfectly respectable, decent people in the wider community and have many friends. But I know what they're really like. Which one? The one who beat the shit out of me on the school bus because their drunk parents did the same to them? The one who flicked my then big ears and was told she's only doing because she likes me, thus setting me up for a lot of confusion and thinking meanness is just a misguided way of flirting? The one who would low flick my ears and then in gym class try to down me? No idea, and I don't care outside of not wishing death on another person. Successful and rich guy with a model trophy wife who still draws energy from ruining other people's fun. Met him 10 years after graduation on a school reunion party and he basically only showed up in his Honda NSX with his also toxic wife next to him to tell me that I'm just like the loser he imagined me to be and what a shitty party this is. Called it a waste of time and left after like 10 minutes. He even stole a bottle of whiskey. Only one of 2 people in my life to ever maliciously call me something racist. Dude set a friend's boyfriend on fire. His parents paid a ton of money to get his legal issues brushed under the rug. They sent him out of state for his last year of school. He was in a multi-movie Hollywood franchise, then a really bad movie. He made a decent amount of money, and I stopped paying attention after that, because I have better things to do. They all have 1 or more baby mamas and gained at least 50 pounds with minimum wage jobs while living in their parents' house. They all have zero work ethic, wonder why, and expect to be paid $30 an hour and work no more than 20 hours a week while either selling drugs or trying to make it as rappers. No judgment, it's just funny how I was a fugly slut and only been in 2 relationships and have a house with my current BF, woman shrugging. I'm at a different school now. Bully dislocated my lifelong friend's collarbone by jumping on him. Bully is now lonely, smirking face. When I was in the same class as him he would punch and kick me, call me a filthy bitch. He would also punch and kick my classmates, but when that happened I always put myself between the asshole and my friends. Which meant I always got punched. The teachers just said he has stopped it and can't help it. Dagmar became Dogmar and now works admin for a paper company. Billy has been in more prisons than syphilis. David has finally quit drugs, started a YouTube channel about quitting drugs, and seems to be doing fine. Scott is still an utter and unrelenting prick of the highest order. Joe got a lobe dissection and it seems to have controlled most of his upsetting and violent feelings. Not the biggest bully though, always trying to make fun of me and our friend group. One day I knew I needed to change, so I started hanging out with the popular football group and it changed me while the bully spiraled down and became a loser. Now I hang around a lot of different groups watching him be more and more hated and annoying. Plus I dated his girl best friend who he had a crush on. Last time I saw him, he was trying to put his life in order. But he was struggling a lot, since he messed up the most important years of his education. And the educative system of my country of origin is pretty ruthless. If you don't have the right diploma, no matter your actual skills, you're basically screwed. So yeah, I think he struggled quite a bit. I hope he made it, though. Turned out to be a total psycho. Had an abusive home life, so I empathized with him at the time. Ended up growing up and stabbing a homeless veteran over 70 times. Got caught by his sister, she turned him in. Got life in prison. He murdered his cellmate, got another life sentence. Still kind of sad really. Maybe if he had a better life he wouldn't have turned out the way he did. Tried taking his bullying act on the road to college. Got his ass thoroughly kicked after messing with the wrong person's friend, which motivated him to grow up. Now has a corner office in large company in our metro area. Sends his kids to my school. One of my daughters briefly dated his son. I found the kid to be a significantly better human at that age than his father was. He's on Facebook constantly crying about how unfair life has been to him. He also said he won't go to our 10-year EHS reunion because he was bullied by the assholes that are now organizing the reunion. When I commented and reminded him how he bullied me, he just said at least I didn't make you suicidal like they made me. Completely delusional. I feel bad for him. He's been in and out of jail for substance abuse, petty theft. Right now he's in custody awaiting trial for beating a disabled woman severely. I'm like 10 rot in jail jerk, but mostly just feel sad for him. With age you realize he had issues, Some more several sort of untreated issues never got the correct help support and he just never stopped spiraling. Got cancer. Everyone realized that life was better with him gone. He came back expecting everyone to cheer him on for overcoming cancer and was basically told to go back. He then came to me, who openly hated him since well before the cancer, to try and figure out what he was doing wrong. Genuinely made an effort to change into seemingly a nice guy. He died at 43 years old a few years ago. He was the elementary school and high school bully to some friends of mine who grew up with him. I didn't know him until senior year of high school when he was regretful about being a bully. Got into drugs after high school. Died in his sleep. Likely related to years of drug abuse. I had a huge bullying problem in middle school. A girl who had a 3-inch thick file at the police station. I saw it when I had to file a report against her. A few years later she was picking up an order at my job, and told me I deserved an apology. She's a mother now to a little boy, so I hope she's done some healing. I kid you not, we had a 5-foot-tall bully in our school. He gained favor with some of the bigger bullies, and I suppose that afforded him carte blanche to act like them. Anyways, a few short years after HS, he fucked with the wrong dude at a party and they followed him home and shot him dead on his mom's front lawn. Life has just shit on him over and over through the years. Had a terrible accident a couple years out of school, wife left him, now going through some pretty extreme health issues. Honestly, I have a hard time even harboring bad feelings toward the guy at this point because life has been pretty freaking kind to me.